Krishna, Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam, and very happy to see yourself. Say to see all of you coming together, and Savalokanath Prabhu, Dharan Prabhu, and Paramananda Prabhu in Latvia already, very good. Nazar in Latvia already, very good. And Gunali on a train or a bus on her way to Latvia, just see. And Marie nearby, beside Latvia. She's usually knitting something or sewing something, being very industrious while listening. And Hari Gopal Prabhu, our translator, our appreciated translator. So if Russian is not your original language, please do click the correct interpretation box, or even if it is, because it's got the simultaneous translation. And Premamaya Devidasi in Sochi, appreciate your presence here today. In Dubala in Italy, Pandita, Rasamoy Pandita here on the veranda, hard at work, and Ranga Devidasi in Germany. All right, so dear devotees, let us begin with our Vandanam as we do. Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yuttapada Kamalang, Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitanscha Om Magyana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvaje Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktivrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So Suresh Krishna Prabhu, Udaran Prabhu, we are here visiting you in Latvia at your invitation. So please let me know how I can be useful, and the others who are also here by your invitation, how we can be useful.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat Paramananda Prabhu,
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat Paramananda Prabhu, and all the devotees. Very happy to see you.
Maharaj, поделимся некоторыми новостями, а потом у нас есть несколько вопросов.
Maharaj, we can share some news and then we have some questions. I think Udaran Prabhu, he also has something.
Как и все наши духовные братья и сестры по всему
As
миру,
all of our spiritual brothers and sisters around the world, Wednesday we had the disappearance day of Govinda Maharaja, and by the instructions of Paramananda Prabhu, we got to join the Chiang Mai devotees, and Maharaj also, you as well, for a short bit. So we got this opportunity to be with the senior devotees to hear from Keshavananda of the glories of Govinda Maharaj. And also we are planning here in Rezekne, in 2 weeks we will be opening a small, modest place, and we left the title as a retreat, a journey to joy. It will be a club of like-minded like-minded individuals on their journey to joy. And this will be a place where we can invite sincere seekers, which we cannot invite to our flat right away. Maybe they will be a little shy to go to someone's flat right away. So that's why we will be searching for these people. So we found a nice place, city center, not big. We will try it out. Maybe we'll have some regular public programs there. So on the 26th, we will be opening there and giving out an invitation to the residents of Rezekne. And also, Udharan Prabhu, Udharan, Harigopal, Lavanga Didi, me, we have a ticket to the London Festival, so we will be joining there from the 9th to the 13th, I think, May. So here are our news. And the question, this question was already since last time, but it was the topic of the appearance of Ramachandra Prabhu. So I did not want to mix that, but the question is, it is on the verse of Bhagavad Gita, it's the 3rd chapter, 6th verse.
Но продолжает лелеять чувственные желания в уме, тот обманывает себя и других.
The verse is, one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on the sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. And the question, it is, I'm lying to myself and the others, even though on the inside I have some sense desires for sense enjoyment. And I'm trying, but what to do in this case? You know, how to harmonize with this shloka, not to delude, not to be a pretender. Try to, should I just enjoy my sense or try to, you know, restrain them and be a pretender in this way?
You be a sincere searcher for Krishna. Our life is not that the focus is on restraining the senses. It's not that, oh, that's our focus, we can't do this, we can't do that. Our focus is on what we are trying to do, which is really make our life's journey, which means each day of our life, going in the proper direction. So we don't want to just think about what we should not be doing. We should think about what we should be doing. And then what we don't do, there's no time for what we don't do because we're full in what we should be doing. And so much has been given about what we should be doing, and an example that we can never follow, and Srila Guru Maharaj said, it is not possible for a human to do as he did, is Raghunath Das Goswami, who for 22.5 hours a day was engaged in full service, and for 1.5 hours a day slept, maintained his body, and did anything else. And so, as one of our dear sannyasis said, the opposite of what many devotees do. 1.5 hours in the day they do service, and 22.5 hours in the day doing other things. So we know we cannot do as Raghunath Das Goswami did. But then we can think, what was he doing for those 22.5 hours? But he was chanting his japa. He was doing parakram of Govardhan Hill every day. He was doing so many things. But there is possibility of full engagement for everyone. Just as this world, everyone has the possibility of full engagement in illusion. And you see the whole world is very successful at doing that. I mean, perfectly successful. 24 hours a day illusion. But the upper world is a world which is full of joyful variety, full of activity, and we need to try to make our focus. So that's where I want to go. And we have met Indian people, very focused. So I want to get to California. And they make their whole life's ambition, preparing themselves to go to California. And you can't just go to California because you've got to have some qualification to go. You can't just get on a plane and go. You need a visa. And then to be able to stay or anything, you need more than a visa. You've got to get qualifications. You've got to be useful to the country, etc. And so we've met people who have been very focused in such a way. And so their goal is, I'm going to make it to America. They study hard, they do this, they do that. So our goal is much more than going to California. And I mean, that is, you can say it's also a shallow goal, because what happens in California? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. What happens in California? Disease, accident, difficulties caused by your own body, by other living entities, and by the demigods, the devas, natural disasters. And what happens? Old age, and oh yes, something else happens, death. So California is a very shallow goal to have, but still can be very focused. And to be a top sportsman, you have to be very focused. Yesterday, one man came here, and he's a weightlifter. And he was a champion of this, champion of that, weightlifter. But you can see by his body, he didn't get a body like that just overnight. His ambition is there. He's been doing his exercise, he's doing his practicing, and his energy has gone to that, getting that, coveted trophy or position, prestige, whatever it may be. But we have our purpose of energy, and this is to really make our life focused on Krishna. And recently we read, and again, because we do read from more than one place, I can't be 100% sure whether it was Srila Guru Maharaj or Srila Prabhupada. I'll have to look and see if I can find the quote. But it was more or less about this verse, that one who restrains his mind, his senses, but his mind dwells on these objects, then he's a fool. And in fact, I searched for the wrong word, fool. Okay, I've got it. It's exactly here, and it's verse 6 of chapter 3. What verse did you quote just now? What number verse?
Yes, same verse, Maharaj, sixth verse.
Okay, well, here you are. One who externally restrains his hands, legs, and other sense action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, is a fool. Okay, there you are. That will do. Know him to be a hypocrite. So what's the problem? Tell your mind not to dwell on the sense objects. Now we learned, okay, Krishna's quite smart, and I'm not very smart, I'm a fool, but I don't want to be a fool. As Guru Maharaj says in the beginning of Sri Guru and his grace, that nobody wants to remain imperfect. We know we're imperfect, but that tendency to be perfect, that tendency we want to do right, is within us all. And when that tendency is a little awakened, as it is in each of us here, then we will try to be a sincere student, to come out from foolishness, from being a fool, to being a little bit sensible, a little bit grown up. So not to dwell on the objects of the senses. So again, we've got good advice for our intelligence. And then our intelligence is in control of the mind. The mind is in control of the senses. But still, we can say that there's a sloka in Sri Sri Prapana Jivanamritam, that one who knows that the material things of this world, they are called the cause of suffering, not the cause of joy. Ultimately, they are the cause of suffering, but he cannot give them up. Then he becomes full of repentance, and he still keeps trying. So there is a verse in Prapana Jivanamritam like this. So Krishna, he's not putting up a big iron fence that everyone who isn't perfect, they've got no chance. Rather, well, it's Mahaprabhu who's drilling a hole in that fence, if you like, and saying, well, here is a golden opportunity. Mahaprabhu is the golden Lord. Here's the golden opportunity for everyone. That don't focus on the negative things. Focus on the holy name of the Lord. Focus on the advices that we're getting from the Lord's real agents. If today you were walking along the street and you met a 2.4 meter tall or 2.3 meter tall, brightly golden, radiant person who is chanting Hare Krishna, dancing and pleading with everybody, please take the name of Krishna, just leave all your mundane desires and come and desire Krishna only. And if you met him in the street of Resegne or wherever it may be today, then you'll come home and you'll be thinking, oh, I have to take Krishna Nam, Krishna Nam. This great soul I met in the street, I don't know who he is, but he was full of love and ecstasy, and he promised that we will be full of love and ecstasy if we take the holy name of the Lord sincerely, with faith, with proper calling. Then we won't be going to focus on all the things of this world. Somebody says, oh, let's go to the football match, let's go to the cinema. Oh, I think I've got something better to do than go to the football match or the cinema. But anyhow, this is kind of an immediate response, and somehow I wasn't. It is exactly that verse. I am listening now, my daily reading when I'm in my spare time, when I'm doing things like rinsing my laundry or something. Then I'm listening to Gita now, and it's actually this chapter that I also heard very recently. And it's a reminder for us not to be a fool. We don't like to be called a fool. You're a fool. Yes, okay, we can admit we're a fool, but we will try to correct ourselves and not just say, well, okay, that's me, I'm in the material world. And if we want to delay, we can delay. Krishna's got lots of bodies waiting for us. 8,400,000. But if we want to go and see the fortune of the present time, then we need to tolerate this world. And how we will tolerate it is by following the guidance that's been given by Mahaprabhu and the great souls headed by Rupa Goswami and the Rupa Goswami line, which means Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. So we will try our best and do the positive things. And by the positive, the negative things go. But if we dwell on things, then in this chapter also, I believe that by contemplating on the objects of our senses, if we contemplate on the objects, then attachment comes. And when attachment comes, then if we are like deprived of that, then anger can arise. When anger comes, then everything is lost. So we want to be sober people, dhira. We want to be sober and not to be the servant of our senses, the servant of our mind senses also. We've come so far, we've come so near to great treasure, and a great shame to lose this due to lust, greed, anger, envy, desire. And Sagar Maharaj is translating in this hidden treasure book, he's translating desire, I want, I want. It may not be in the gross sense of I want in male, female terms, but this desire that I want this, I want that, I will be happy if I do this. Then this we need to leave behind and know that as children of the Lord, we are not going to be neglected, in fact, that our necessities will come. We think that we have to work hard for our necessities. And I never understood this thing in the Bible of Adam and Eve, and they take a bite of the fruit of the tree to taste that for themselves. But as far as I came to understand from devotees later, that idea was, okay, if we want to take for ourselves and enjoy for ourselves, we must come into this mundane world where we're given that opportunity with birth and death, birth and death. And maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I mentioned about it. A baby was born, and on the same day, then one of relatives of our devotees died. Well, also, within the last couple of days, a baby was born, and the relatives of one of our friends has died. So we are seeing birth and death in front of our eyes, and that's where we are. We are just a few days away from death, and we're a few months, I suppose, away from birth. And we've forgotten that we were that baby. We've forgotten all these things, but that's what's waiting. Because Bhagavad Gita, from which you are quoting, is telling us, for one who is born, death is certain. And for one who dies, birth is certain, in order to go through their desires and reactions for the wrong things they've done. But for those who put the Lord at the center, then they don't have to go through birth and death any longer. And as Mahaprabhu says in his first verse of Cheto Dapanang Marjanang Baba, in this first verse, that they're taking the name, one of the first effects is to remove the greatest fear, the fear of death. Because we don't know exactly where we're going to go, etc. But when we come to take the name of the Lord, when we come to chant his names, then we start to get our focus, and then we know that our upward journey is continuing. But if we want to fool ourselves, we have plenty of opportunity. But not that we can even expect we'll have the opportunity that we have at present. It is an outstanding opportunity in the course of millions of years. And in the future, somebody born 500 years from now it is 500 years since Mahaprabhu was here, somebody born 500 years from now, they'll see the history of the line of Mahaprabhu and how it came to the world in the 20th century, the late part of the 1900s, and how it came to the world from that wish of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, manifest through Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev. And we all have got this practically immediate connection with them. And their recordings, their books, their this, their that. And today I was looking and thinking, while they're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita in the morning, we are using the tablet to read, but it is not substantial. We know that all these electronic things, they come up within a moment, they can all disappear within a moment too. But the books are substantial. And another thing is, we've got at this time so much which is like directly coming from them and not being manipulated in the course of time, as we know many scriptures have. they've been manipulated for the purpose of this king or that ruler or this person or that person, but not in the case of what is manifested directly in this age in, I'm sorry, the English language, but English language, which is the go-to language of the world, as seen then too by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Saraswati Thakur. And from there to so many languages being presented. Because as you know, Suresh, English is a simple language. Whereas Sanskrit, not so simple. Bengali, not so simple for the Westerners, maybe. But no one can, well, I hope no one can deny that Bengali is such a sweet language, so beautiful. But the Italians are competing. Yes, I know. Hare Krishna. And please do read Bhagavad Gita. As I say, at the moment, it is my book of the moment, listening when we are doing other things, is Bhagavad Gita. And we keep coming back to Bhagavad Gita. And very happily. Hare.
Yes, Maharaj, I understand. You give us encouragement. We need to, our free time, we need to engage it in some service like you, Maharaj, Bhagavad Gita, not to enjoy our senses in that free time. But we need to put our energy into that, otherwise nothing will happen by itself. We have been given very much. We should not think that something will be happen by itself. We need to put our energy into it.
And by the way, I'm very happy to hear, we're all happy to hear, no doubt, and Gurudev also, that you're going to use a center. You found a center in the center of town, somewhere where you can reach the people and where you can have regular programs and the public won't feel it's a bit odd to go to somebody's flat. And you know that the Akshay Tritiya is coming up, and this is a very good day to start things, and it is the 30th of this month. And you could have some devotee explain to me about a soft launching and I can't remember exactly what it was, but you can have two openings of the center. You can open it on the day you mentioned, 26 perhaps, but then on the Akshay Tritiya, you can do something a little extra and raise the flag and say, actually, this is the day we're opening our center. It's the day that they start to make the Jagannath deities every year. The Jagannath, not the deities, excuse me, the chariots every year. And I think it's a Chandan Yatra too, right? Oof. Yes, the 30th is the beginning of the 21 days Chandan Yatra of Sri Jagannath Dev. And it's also, if anyone's ever been in Puri at this time, the beginning and continuing of the Chandan Yatra, it's somehow a very sweet and auspicious time. I mean, any time to be in Puri must be sweet and auspicious, but we've been there this time, and it's very hot. Not yet very hot in Latvia or anywhere else. I know I've got you on my phone for the temperatures, but in Jagannath Puri, it's very hot. And this Chandan Yatra is a very sweet time in Puri, where each evening the deities come from the Jagannath temple in their Vijay Vigraha forms, which is their Leela pastime forms. And they come and they go on boat rides on Narendra Sarovar in the evening, in the cooling, with the cooler breeze in the evening. And it's a very sweet time. And it is where, right there on the side of the road, that main road from the Jagannath temple to the Gundicha, they begin carving without any modern equipment, just by chisel, etc. They are carving the wheels, the pillars, the platforms, everything for the domes, for the 3 carts of Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra. And it's amazing just to watch them nearby, to chant some japa, to sit and just see how they work so peacefully, but so like focused and with skill to make wheels. We would think they'll need some special machine to make a round wheel. Well, their special machine is their teaching from their predecessor, They've been taught how to do these things very skillfully. And yes, they do rattle when they go down the road. The rumbling of the Jagannath, Subhadra and Jagannath carts as they come down the road. So maybe the wheels aren't 100% round and with rubber on the side of them. Who are you bowing down to? I can see somebody the 10,000th the size, the tip of a hair just came in. But I can hear his voice now. Okay. Now I make the screen big.
He was watching the plots.
Leelamoy Prabhu. And they've given him the title of heavy, or part of the heavy metal group of Vila Govinda, because he's washing the heavy metal pots of Vila Govinda. And when Hari Gopal Prabhu is here, he's part of that group too. And actually, when Suresh Krishna Prabhu is here, part of that group too. When all of you, Savalokanath Prabhu also, Udaran Prabhu also, we see in the kitchen there. Hare Krishna. Paramananda Prabhu, Yadu Krishna Prabhu, we're in good company. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, we're in good company with all of you. But I think it's time for Paramananda Prabhu to flow with some Russian to Latvia.
Dandavad. Wonderful to see everyone. Nice to see Saci DD. Were you there all the time, or you just arrived?
We arrived on Friday with Pandita.
Okay. August
Very happy.
gathering.
Yes, wonderful.
Anyhow, I was just listening to Suresh Krishna Prabhu's question. A wonderful answer by Maharaj.
Yeah.
But one story came to mind. It's about Yudhishthira Maharaj. And I don't remember who exactly asked him that question. Maybe it was Krishna, maybe it was Narada Muni. Could be both of them, because it's a tricky question. Since Yudhishthira Maharaj's mother was very attractive, she never aged. One time, one of them asked, Yudhishthira, can I ask you a question? He said, yes. And they knew he is going to tell the truth, because he never spoke a lie. That was one of his qualities. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj, either Narada Muni or Krishna, they asked him this question, have you ever felt attraction to your mother? Because she's so beautiful, she never aged. Immediately, Yudhishthira Maharaj said, yes, I felt that attraction. And then the second question came, and then what are you doing about it? And then his answer was very simple. Govinda Maharaj pointed that out. He said, I'm controlling my mind and my senses with dharma buddhi, the intelligence that is guided by a good advice, guided by the dharma. So what we hear in Bhagavad Gita, in many ways, is the dharma explanation, the proper way to be, we can say, a proper personality and to find your own natural organic position in relation to the Absolute, which is the servitor of the Absolute. So Suresh Krishna Prabhu is asking that question, but Krishna is pointing out about people who are cheating themselves, because really they're thinking they're cheating others, but first of all, they're cheating themselves. Externally, they're trying to act as if they're renounced, like if they are controlling the mind and senses, making external show. But inside, their mind dwells on the sense objects. And Maharaj quoted that verse from Bhagavad Gita, Krodha Bhavati Sammoha verse. And from that, because when we dwell on that, externally, we may look, we may dress like a renunciate, like a sadhu, like a yogi. We may even act like that. We can even talk like that. Like me, I can talk well, but my mind is dwelling somewhere else. And externally, we look, oh yes, this person is very nice, he's very advanced, he's very sadhu-like. But inside, our mind is always looking for the sense objects, and we like to dwell there. But understanding that we have this problem, we have this situation, is actually cancels us from that group. So a devotee understands, oh, this is my fallen situation, my fallen soul. Even though I'm trying hard to control my senses, trying hard to engage my mind and always remembering Krishna, and still I'm failing. So devotee is lamenting. And I think Guru Maharaj was saying that even though we may happen, we may be in that kind of situation, but the reactions for that will be burned in the fire of sincere repentance. So that is also a good point to think. When you're actually acknowledging that, you're conscious about this is my situation, that puts you in a whole different category. You're not trying to cheat anybody by, oh, look how renounced I am, how great I am, but at the same time your mind is somewhere else, thinking of all sorts of sense objects. And like you said, Maharaj, what will happen? It's not possible to fulfill. The attachment develops, and then you want to fulfill the attachment. You want to fulfill your desire, and that is not possible. Then anger rises. From anger rises delusion. From delusion rises self-forgetfulness. And from self-forgetfulness, the loss of intelligence. And then Krishna says, and when that happens, everything is lost. So this is when you really let it happen. But not in your case, Suresh Krishna Prabhu. You're trying to be a devotee. And Krishna gives a perfect formula in the end. He describes all sorts of yoga, and yoga meant to control your senses, control your mind, engage your mind. But then in the end, he says, Man mada bhava mad bhakto. Always engage your mind in thinking of me. Do something for me. And what is most important, because really it's difficult, and Krishna also agrees with Arjuna. I mean, Arjuna is quite frustrated hearing how difficult, understanding how difficult it is to control senses and mind. And then Krishna says, yes, it's impossible. It's practically impossible. But then in Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse come out from Kapila Muni, Sadat Prasanga Mama Virya Samvida verse. And in that verse, the formula is giving. If you want to have that attachment for Krishna and not for the sense object to arise in your heart, then stay in the company of the devotees who already have that attraction in their heart. Serve them, mix with them, associate, hear from them, and then slowly the faith will come to you. Then the faith will become the attachment, and the attachment will lead you to bhakti, to love for Krishna. So the formula is there, and we're all trying to do. So no point to point fingers on people saying, oh, you're not developed that, or you're still dwelling on senses, objects of the senses. We're standing in the shower. Nobody is going to go into the shower when somebody's actually taking a shower and saying, oh, look how dirty you are. You are in the process of getting clean. You're just give some time. So in a similar way, whatever we do is meant for that, to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So that is the goal of our practice. And at some point, it becomes so natural. When that taste comes, I have no idea what I'm talking about, actually, but we hear it from our guardians. When the taste arises, you cannot even imagine a single moment without thinking or doing something for Krishna, or doing and thinking of his servitors, his devotees. You will not spend a single moment of your life without that. But in a beautiful, sweet Bengali, we can say, Kabhi habe bolo sedina amar. When will that day will come? But we're all praying for that, and we have the hope. That's all I can say, Maharaj.
And a very good point, and a point which Srila Gurudev also made it with the case of one senior devotee of ours who was revealing his mind to him. And that is the point that in this, as long as we are in this material world, then we've got the material environment and the material thoughts will come. But we need to control those thoughts and not dwell on them. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, of all, not only people, but the pure of the purest, and then he's acknowledging, yes, some thought may come in my mind, but with intelligence we subdue that. And so similarly, Srila Gurudev also addressed that with a particular person, and Gurudev is fully aware of the whole picture of this material world, but he's aware of also the journey that we're on, the picture of the upper world and the nature which is there, which is waiting for us all. So not to dwell on the lower things. We have to tolerate one of these departments, and many departments, where we have to tolerate and continue. And we have Saci DD here with us, if we can give a little opportunity for her to speak. No Dutch translators here, but not necessarily, because she speaks very good English, having lived in England now, in and around the temple for many years. So Saci DD, she knows we're going to ask her to share some good advice with you. So here's Saci visiting Latvia today, along with the rest of us.
Dhanavad, dear devotees. How can I top this beautiful talk our dear Maharaj has given, and our dear Paramananda has topped something extra on top of that. So, but what comes to mind is that we, as we are in a family, we have come to the solution of our life. We have come to the solution of the highest of the highest. That means we have actually a choice. We have two natures. That is the lower nature and the higher nature. And the lower nature, we know already from our gurus and from the scriptures, that doesn't give a good result. Then we're going down. And of course, we have free will, so we can have some experience there, and I'm sure we all have already experienced there, actually for many lifetimes. But now, by some unexpected good fortune, we have come to know about a higher nature, the nature of our soul, and the soul is who we are. It's now maybe a bit covered with what do they say? They say the chariot of the mind wants to go to the pleasure gardens. Well, that's just what it does. And then I can give, like, how much Netflix can we, for example, see, or make the choice of reading the Bhagavatam or the books of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. Then we can see very clearly the lower nature and the higher nature. And then it's up to us. What do we choose? So there the evidence is clear. And they say also, who is that to be found so wonderful? Who is that to be found so attractive? That is Krishna. Nobody can top that. He's everywhere, he's in everything. He is in us, he's very close to us. So, I don't know, I say that to myself also, like to become more serious, to become more, doing my best more. And then we will be good to ourselves and also to our environment. And we all in a family, and you are very dear to me and to all of us. And, you know, that's my little contribution.
Contribution from the heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, Udaram Prabhu has a question.
Maharaj,
Second
Udaram.
question from Udaram Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Дандават, Махарадж, Дандават всем преданным.
Dandavat, Maharaj,
Да, у меня был
Dandavat to
вопрос,
all the
но мы
devotees.
как-то
Yes, I had a
переключились
question,
в другую тему.
but we've already
Вот,
switched to a different topic.
Но да, мы на этой неделе вспоминали
But yes,
день
this
ухода
week we were
Гурудева,
remembering the disappearance day of
и те,
Gurudev,
кто его встречал, вспоминали его
those who
самого,
have
тех, кто
met
не
him,
встречал,
who
те
are remembering
вспоминали
him directly, those who did not.
рассказы от тех,
They
кто
were
его встречал.
remembering stories of those who met
Есть
him.
вопрос, я
And I
слышал
have a
о том,
question.
что Шрила
I
Гурудев
heard
как-то
that Srila
сказал, я
Gurudev,
не могу сказать, где это
I
было сейчас,
cannot
но
say where
слышал
he
такое,
said that,
что
but I heard that
сказал, я
he
не
said,
оставлю того, кто
I will
хотя бы
not
капельку сделал для Гуру
abandon
Махараджа. Ну, может
one
быть,
who
слова не такие
even
были,
did
но
a
сам
little bit
смысл
for
был
Guru
такой.
Maharaj. Maybe it's not
Да,
word for
может быть, вы
word,
что-то можете
but
более
the
сказать,
meaning is
Махарадж,
something like
на
that.
эту тему.
Maybe can you
И если
elaborate on this
такое
topic,
действительно
Maharaj?
было, то
And if this
что же
indeed
такое
happened,
служение для Гуру
then what does
Махараджа?
it
Как мы
mean to do
можем
service even a little
нынешнем
bit to Guru
положении
Maharaj? How can we
послужить
do
Гуру Махараджу?
that in our current position? How can we serve Guru Maharaj?
Well, first of all, I can happily confirm that that is the case. Srila Gurudev, in some quite extreme cases that happened with devotees later on, Gurudev really from the heart saying, but I cannot abandon him. I cannot forget the service he has done for Guru Maharaj. And that particular devotee also, this doesn't only apply to him, but that particular devotee was Gurudev's disciple. So actually the service has been to Gurudev, but Gurudev, everything that's coming to him in the form of service, he's seeing that as service to Guru Maharaj. He's not seeing, oh, this is serving me as anything separate. And so in particular, in that case, we can say a very clear example. And Srila Gurudev was under some pressure, you can say, to actually abandon that devotee. But Gurudev not abandoned. So I cannot abandon one who has done service to Guru Maharaj. So this is not only in the lifetime of Gurudev, it's then afterwards, and this is the line, the current, the connection, the life connection with Gurudev, with Guru Maharaj, with Srila Saraswati Thakur. So what does it mean to do service to Guru Maharaj is to do what they expect of us now. And in the generation and the generations that will follow, then the students will always have to consider, yes, what would Guru Maharaj want? What would Gurudev want that we will do now in their absence? And so, hence the line, the continuing line of their grace reaches out to the devotees, and they will want that everybody will participate in a program, something similar, adapted maybe for the local environment, but similar to that has been given in Chaitanya Saraswat Math by Guru Maharaj, who was strict to follow Srila Saraswati Thakur. by Gurudev, who was strict to follow Srila Guru Maharaj. And so in this way, we've got our guidelines, our life guidelines. And sometimes, especially when we're in Thailand, we're reminded about how in Thailand, each parent, they want, traditionally at least, and in the countryside still, they want that their sons, their boys, will be a monk for 6 months, preferably, at least 6 months. Not that they want that their son is going to be a monk forever, but that it will give them the life training of how to continue their life. That way is in the Buddhist way. It's in a very, it's a kind of say mode of goodness way in the modern world, moral and to do good for others, etc. But Guru Maharaj has given us a way where devotees can come, don't have to put the label monk on it, but they'll come and they'll be exclusively devoted while they're staying in the mat and get to have proper practices which will put them in good stead for returning home, living in any environment, and living by chanting the holy name, offering their food, remembering the Lord at each step, and taking our nourishment from their guidance, which is now so richly available due to the modern printing press, but also the modern digital media. So we will look to them and consider what they expect of me, of us individually, different things from one person than from another person. And we'll pray to have that service connection with them. And I think you've made a prayer like that somewhere in the past, because we see you are doing what we would expect that Gurudev would give advice at this present time in the continuation of Krishna consciousness. And they, I know, are happy. Right now is, today's Sunday, but I know on Saturdays now you are working so that you can have time off to make pilgrimage to be with the devotees on special occasions. This is one very sweet kind of sacrifice. You're giving yourself some difficulty, but in order to have that opportunity to do what we know Gurudev and Guru Maharaj want that we will do, to have association with the devotees, chant together, serve together, get strength from each other. The tips, hear the tips, share the tips. Share with others who are new, and we share with those who are older. And hence we have Saci DD, we've got Paramananda Prabhu, we've got Yadu Krishna Prabhu here. We've got devotees here who've got a life of experience and who can share many things. And we have Hari Gopal Prabhu here also. And he is sharing in translation and in his good nature. Hari Gopal Prabhu in Navadip for so long, but he said, I was a child, but still a child in Navadip with Gurudev, that's a great fortune. It took many of us, myself also, 25 years before we got any touch of Krishna consciousness. And Hari Gopal, who is still 17 years old, so he got there way ahead of us. Hare Krishna. Okay, 17 and a bit. Hare Krishna. And Yadu Gopal Prabhu, would you like to address in Russian? Because we have simultaneous English speaking. English translation. Would you like to address the Latvian devotees, give a word or two of substantial advice, but from a substantial devotee, if you don't mind me saying so?
Yadu Krishna.
Yes, I'm here.
Да.
Yes.
Надо что-то сказать? Пора.
I need to say something?
Please.
Да, совет латвийским преданным, дай, пожалуйста.
Please give some advice to the Latvian
Меня
devotees.
застало врасплох, черт возьми.
Oh, Maharaj, you put me on the spot.
Yes,
На
da.
самом деле дать совет
Mm.
сложно, хочется самому получить совет.
It's hard to give advice. I myself want to receive some
Извините,
advice.
один момент.
Please
Такой
forgive
сложный
me.
немножко
Give me a
дорожной
moment.
обстановки.
I have some
Сейчас, извините.
driving situation here.
Сейчас. Вы знаете, что, ну, я не могу
You
дать
know,
советы.
I cannot give
Могу внимательно
advices.
слушать и
I
радоваться тому, что
can
моя жизнь
attentively
настолько
listen
удачливая, что
and be
я
happy
соприкоснулся
that I'm so
с
fortunate
нашим
to be
Гурудевом, с
connected
Мадхусудом
to our
Махараджем, со всеми
Gurudev,
старшими
to Madhusudan
преданными.
Maharaj,
И
to all the senior
знаете, я первый раз
devotees.
увидел Мадхусуда Махараджа в 1997 году.
In 97, I
Мы
first
приезжали в
saw Madhusudan Maharaj.
на Махарадж. Тогда
We went to Navadvip.
ну, мы утром
And
просыпались и думали, надо что-то
Madhusudan
начать
Maharaj,
делать, не просто
when
же
we would
сидеть.
wake up,
Вот, а так как, ну, все,
he
что,
would,
когда мы размышляли, что мы можем сделать, мы понимали, что делать что-то мы можем только руками
when
и
we thought what
ногами.
we can
Вот,
do,
ну,
we understood we
мы
can
пришли
only
к
do
Мадхусуду
something with our
Махараджу, и
hands.
он поручил нам мыть окна.
And Madhusudan Maharaj told us to
Здание,
clean windows of
где,
the buildings
где жил
where
Махарадж, Гурудев.
Gurudev
Это было чудесно,
used to
совершенно.
live. It
Ну, то
was
есть
absolutely
есть такие
wonderful.
моменты,
And these type
мне
of
очень не нравится, на
moments,
самом деле, философии, как бы так получилось,
I'm
что
not
не занимался
very
морковью, картофелем,
profound in
чуть-чуть
philosophy.
очень нравится.
I would
Но
mostly
есть
be
такие
engaged
моменты,
with
знаете, иногда ты
carrots
думаешь,
and
что не понимаешь
potatoes.
английский, а потом ты
And
понимаешь, что обязательно и нет необходимости в этом. И знаете, вот есть такая, я бы назвал это таким неудачным словом реализация, что я, вот знаете, я точно знаю, что Гурудев нас не оставит. И в какой-то момент я
I'm
спросил
100%
у
certain
Гурудева,
that
надо ли учить
Gurudev will
английский, он
never
сказал,
abandon
иди
us.
работай лучше. Вот, и не переживай ни о чем. Тогда я не особо понял, а сейчас я понимаю, знаете, заходишь иногда и думаешь, есть ли перевод? Есть, хорошо. Нет ли перевода? Ну и не надо, и так все понятно. Да. А, а. Да. В
Sorry, I asked
какой-то
him to go.
момент
At
я
one
спросил
point,
Гурудева, нужно ли
I
знать
asked
английский.
Gurudev, do I need to know English?
Мы
Do I need to learn it?
активно работали, и на это не
I
было
was
времени.
very actively
А
working,
те, кто владеет английским, им на
but
самом
those who
деле
know
сложно это
English,
понять. Ну,
it's
русскоязычный
hard to
мир,
understand for the Russian-speaking
успеваешь?
world.
Русскоязычный мир, он является в чем-то оторван от мира.
The
Сложно с
English-speaking world
английским. Ну, вот. Но
is
я
a
понял,
little
знаете, очень
separated
часто
from the
заходя
Russian-speaking
на
world.
зумы,
You
иногда
know,
этого
when
и
we
не надо.
joined the Zooms, when you join the
Потому
Zooms
что и
now,
так все
maybe
понятно.
you don't, turns
Мне
out you don't really
стало,
need
знаете,
it
так
because you can
понятно,
understand it
что
now
многие
due to
вещи
the
передаются
translation.
через сердце. И знаете,
Ah, no,
я
most
поймал на том,
things
что
are
иногда,
transferred by heart.
когда я захожу на
So
Zoom
when I
с
join the
Мадхусудом
Zooms
Махараджем,
with Madhusudan
вот,
Maharaj,
я забываю включить перевод.
I sometimes forget to
И
turn the
знаете, так все
translation on.
понятно.
And you know,
Вот.
I
Так что
understand. I still
и
understand.
я для себя понял, что надо просто
And I
продолжать это
understood for
делать,
myself that I
стараться
just need
делать
to
и
continue
быть очень
just to try
трепетно относиться к преданным.
to do
Я
it
думаю, что
and
это очень важно. Быть
to
внимательным
deal with the
к
devotees
людям.
with reverence.
А вот это, пожалуй, все, что я могу сказать про войну во
This
Вьетнаме.
is all I can say pretty much.
Спасибо вам всем, что вы
Thank
есть,
you
это лучшее, что есть в нашей
to all of
жизни,
you.
моей.
This is the best thing
Спасибо
that
Мадхусуду
happened in my
Махараджу,
life. And
что он
thanks
заботится о
to
нас.
Madhusudan Maharaj that he's taking care of all of us.
Спасибо вам большое.
Thank you very much.
Yadu Prabhu, I'm so happy to hear from you, and please do excuse me. I thought you were a passenger, and I actually said to him, oh, you're a passenger, I can talk with you. So thank you for taking time from your driving. That's much appreciated. And Prabhu, you are the hearty devotee that we all wish we had a heart like yours. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj,
Yes, Prabhu, Paramananda Prabhu, yes?
Yadu Krishna. You're mixing him up with the Yadu Gopal in Ireland.
What? Who is?
Yadu Krishna, not Yadu Gopal.
Oh, no, I meant, I know Yadu Krishna. Did I say
I
Yadu
know.
Gopal?
Yeah. Few times.
We can say same,
So,
but
sorry,
little bit different.
Prabhu, it's only a slip of the tongue. I know 100%. Please excuse me, yes. All right. So, dear devotees, the world goes on. Any last quick thing, last quick question or sharing? Premamai Devirasi, she's here with us. Would you like to ask anything?
Dandavat, no, I'm okay.
All right. Happy to have you here with us today. You're in good company from devotees from around and about, from St. Petersburg, from Moscow, your dad, from Germany, from Latvia. Oh, from Latvia, we're in Latvia, my goodness. And now in Portugal and Croatia and Florida. Dana is in Florida. And SN, not sure who is SN. Hare Krishna. Paramananda Prabhu, a final couple of words from you. Oh, maybe we should pass over to Suresh. The time is there already.
Yes, Maharaj, I think he can wrap it up.
Suresh Prabhu, we came by invitation to you. I hope we've been of some service.
Yeah. Да, Махарадж, как всегда, потому что
Yes, Maharaj,
всегда, когда мы
as always,
преданными,
as always,
получаем
as we're
вдохновение,
talking with devotees, we're getting some strength, inspiration. We're very happy that you are every Sunday, you're giving us your association. You come to our small room and we're all fitting here and we're talking about the topics that help us focus on the main thing. In our practice, daily practice, we have our daily practice, but the Sunday is a bit of an ending to our week. And we finish it in the proper mood, and then we start our week also in a proper mood because of that. Most importantly, of course, is not to be a fool and to use most of our time in spiritual Krishna consciousness to engage ourselves in service and practices and preaching and association with the devotees. And I'm starting to understand that when we're all coming together, all the other desires, they disappear. And as Yadu Krishna Prabhu said, the most valuable is that we have devotees. And without devotees, we are incapable of anything. Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Jai Shri Gurudev, Om Vishnu Pad Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj, Om Vishnu Pad Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Shri Prabhupada, Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. And all of our speakers and sharers today Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Matov Shri Gurudev and Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. And there's Rasamoy Pandita and Kumkum Devi Rasi. Also showed up on the screen, and to each of you, and Gunali Didi, she's walking in the forest, she's having a nice day's walk. All right, we are continuing this side of the world. The kiosk is open. We're going out now to do Sankirtan in the garden, as we did yesterday, for the public and for the trees, the grass, and for ourselves. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhya, Kripa Sindhu Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranam. Wishing you a successful Seva week. We'll meet again soon. Hare Krishna.